King is a very round boy who always walks around with a pastry in his hand. His passion? Food. But every time he goes to school, Jin appears, a girl who has a special radar to intercept him just as he opens his lunch. So let's get started with the recap. Today is no exception. Jin approaches him with a "that sandwich is mine" look, but King is firm and not willing to give in. Just as the situation gets tense, they both trip and bam, end up with a sign stuck to their rear ends. Jin tries to pull it off, but nothing. That sign has the adherence of a koala. So, resigned, they walk to school together, with everyone observing such a spectacle. Jin is mortified with embarrassment when she sees the most popular boy, Sun, giving them a confused look. In an attempt to disappear, Jin hides behind a plant, but only manages to attract more attention. They eventually manage to enter the principal's office, where Sue, the queen of the school, appears and offers them new clothes to cover their ruined rear ends. Kang is instantly smitten with Sue, while Jen, feeling ignored, walks away murmuring something like, "I hope I never see you again." The next day, surprise! Kang is the new student in Jin's class. To top it off, the teacher assigns him the seat next to her. Kang quickly notices Jin is more scattered than a dandelion seed, and her grades, well, they prove it. So, amid laughter, she realizes that he, the food boy, is the smarter of the two. Later, Sue sits next to him, and Kang, in a daze, imagines a fit version of himself conquering her. We others laugh when they see his athletic build, but Kang surprises him. He wins the game and becomes the hero. Meanwhile, Jin tries to skip class to see San, but the teacher catches her. Kang, in an act of camaraderie, sends her the answers, and Jin happily finishes the assignment perfectly and manages to watch the game. However, her attention is focused on San, who smiles at her, making Kang feel jealousy as obvious as his belly. Finally, when Kang attempts the decisive move, he trips and falls onto Jin, leaving both of them demoralized. And for the first time, Kang truly wishes to get in shape once and for all. Well, this tangle of student romance and drama is not to be missed. The real trouble begins when, right in the middle of class, some classmates mock King, calling him chubby. But just as his spirits plummet, King finds a letter on his desk. The moment he touches the envelope, San snatches it away, and the rumor spreads. It's a love letter. But here comes the twist. It's not for him, but for his friend, San. And poor King's little heart shatters. The suspicious teacher asks who the letter is really for. This is where King shows his nobility and takes an emotional bullet. "It's for me," he blurts out, making Jin pretend she likes him. So amidst secrets and furtive glances, King continues to hide his unrequited affection.
But who left the letter on his desk? Well, the investigation begins. Kong and Sun decide to launch into espionage, entering the teacher's office like true rookie detectives. There, amidst piles of papers and a sprinkle of glitter, the principal spies on them. Well, they run out without knowing if they are closer to the truth or to punishment. Then, Kong drops a harsh truth on Jin. Sen will never love you. Jin doesn't take it well and tries to kick him with a karate move. Kong, faster than agile, dodges the blow and just in case taunts her with, "Your feet smell." And so begins a love-hate relationship that gets more complicated every day. A few days later, Tong bumps into Sue recording a TikTok dance, but suddenly a suspicious guy starts taking pictures of her. Kong to the rescue! He confronts the stalker but doesn't fare well and ends up injured. A frightened Sue calls Sun for help. Kong, with more pride than common sense, asks them not to tell Jin anything. He doesn't want her to see him weak. However, fate crosses their paths in the rain, and amidst confessions, the two find solace in their wounded hearts. And well, to celebrate, Kong goes on a food binge, and Jin, with a "seriously" look, proposes to help him with his diet if he teaches her how to study. Kong starts studying like crazy, while Jin takes revenge by making him run until exhaustion. Then, one day, fed up with all the studying, Kong tries to hide from Jin, but she catches him and motivates him with a smack on the behind. In a final maneuver, Jin decides to pretend to be studying, placing a stuffed animal in front of the camera so it looks like she is working and goes to karaoke. But the stuffed animal falls and a panicked Kong calls an ambulance, thinking his study partner had a seizure. The story continues. It turns out Jin's trick backfires. So, looking sheepish, she apologizes to Kong, but he, as if nothing happened, immediately changes the subject and informs her that a dirty photographer is lurking, aiming his lens at excited girls. Kong's solution? Totally logical. dress Jin in cute clothes to attract the guy. Spoiler alert, Kong falls into his own trap because with Jin in adorable mode, he is the shy one now. Well, the strategy obviously works. The photographer tries to take Jin, but Kong and his gang launch into a chase worthy of an action movie. The villain manages to land a good blow on Kong, but Jin, with her fists ready, takes matters into her own hands and defends him with a series of blows that would surprise any boxer.
Just when Kang tries to muster the courage to kiss Jin in full heroic mode, bam! The villain is about to throw a bottle at Jin, but Kang, in a fit of bravery, uses his head as a shield. Dramatically, the police arrive and take everyone away, although Kang is left bandaged all over his face like an enamored mummy thinking only of Jin. Once the day passes, Jin receives her grades, and surprise, she has failed all of them. Everyone laughs at her, and in the midst of the humiliation, Jin launches a direct-indirect attack at Kang. "Your help was useless," to which he, always sharp, replies, "And you, with your diet, haven't lost an ounce." So, in the midst of a fight worthy of a soap opera, Kang delivers the final blow, meaning Jin is the worst thing that has ever happened to me. And well, saying this, he leaves and disappears from her life like a dramatic Turkish novel protagonist. Well, time passes and New Year's arrives. Jin cannot stop thinking about Kang and asks her friends if they have seen him, but nothing. No one knows anything about him, as if the earth swallowed him whole. Just when Jin is resigned, one day she returns to school and in full Zen mode doing her homework, boom, Kang appears. But now thinner and with a look straight out of a miracle product commercial. Jin almost falls out of her chair thinking she is hallucinating, but no, it's him, and he looks very handsome. Jin, in total shock, runs away as if she had seen a ghost. Of course, Kang does not stay behind and chases her. She starts fabricating theories. Did he have plastic surgery, or did he discover the secret to 5-minute apps? Kang, amused, clarifies that he just dieted, and he corners her against the wall, looking at her with those deep eyes that hypnotize Jin in a second. But she quickly pulls away, regaining control of her little heart and panic romance mode. Well, Kang doesn't miss the opportunity and assigns Jin a new role, his house elf. Yes, Harry Potter style, but with a gym threat mode. Next, he threatens the entire classroom to make Jin sit next to him and be his slave. Later, Jin decides she wants to form a taekwondo club, and Kang, always in protective mode, even if it's not very obvious, decides to help her. However, the girls start bothering Jin to pass messages to Kang. She gets them autographs and even delivers gifts. Fed up with the competition, Jin launches a rumor that leaves everyone paralyzed. Kang lost weight because he has a contagious disease. Well, since then, Kang does not understand why everyone avoids his gaze when he passes by, and when he discovers that Jin has spoken ill of him, he confronts her, but the waifu tells him she is not afraid, although internally her muscle make her heart skip a beat, and not exactly from fear.
Now Kang decides to return to the world of basketball, and in his first game, Jin, in her new role as #1 fan, attends. However, she quickly bothers Kang right in the middle of the court. Well, despite everything, when the final shot arrives, Kang looks at her, and as in a fairy tale, he feels a special power that gives him strength. He gets the victory, and everyone celebrates. But the matter does not end there. Sue, the other girl at school, starts noticing Kang, and Jin, biting her pride, begins to feel the first symptoms of jealousy. So, the big fight day has arrived, and Jin and San immediately start kicking as if there were no tomorrow, flying through the sky with that elegance that only two mortal enemies can have. In a moment of dramatic pause, they look into each other's eyes, but not to measure their fighting skills, but as a kind of mysterious passion. And of course, San takes advantage of the moment to try to send Jin flying. But right there, on the verge of defeat, Jin remembers the encouragement of her friend Kang, who has told her motivational phrases worthy of a gym poster. So Jin gathers courage, strength, and a bit of soap opera drama, and manages to defeat San.
After the victory, Jin and Kang strengthen their friendship so much that Kang decides to run for class president. And of course, he needs a website with well-curated photos to get votes.
Jin, transformed into the most committed photographer, organizes a photo session for him in which Kang poses surrounded by flowers as if he were an Instagram influencer. There, while touching up the photos, Jin blushes when she notices that Kang looks handsomer than usual, although she quickly convinces herself that he is still ugly on the inside. Now, election day has arrived. Kang loses, but Jin, sharp as a tack about conspiracies, discovers that Kang's opponent cheated. Thanks to her investigation, she manages to expose the cheat, and in the end, Kang is declared president. In gratitude, Kang teases Jin as if they were a loving couple, until the romance is interrupted by a school problem. A teacher decides to prohibit girls from participating in the school marathon. Kang's response? To confront the teacher even at the risk of being expelled. Although he is punished, he earns the thanks of Sue, who approaches him to thank him with a look that leaves Kang visibly nervous.
This is when the revolution arrives. With the support of a mysterious company, Kang manages to get millions of skirts to protest, and all the boys wear them for the race. Yes, Jin, seeing it as a symbol of bravery and fashion, cannot help but feel great pride. But of course, the teacher almost falls out of his chair when he sees the boys in skirts and orders them to take them off. Jin, however, continues to admire Kang's bravery. Finally, the principal gives up and allows the girls to participate in the race. Jin runs as if there were no tomorrow, but upon reaching the finish line, she suffers an epic fall, earning an injury worthy of a movie. Kang and Sun, knights to the rescue, carry her to the hospital in their arms. There, in the middle of the hospital, Kang, with all his cheekiness, shows Jin a photo where her legs are visible and refuses to delete it, assuring her that she looks beautiful. While the two end up fighting affectionately, meanwhile, the relationship between Sue and Sun became closer and closer, which unleashed Jin's jealousy. So much so that with the ingenuity of an amateur spy, she puts on a wig and decides to follow them, and to her surprise, Kang is also there. It turns out that he also has feelings for Sue. Well, in a crazy twist, he decides to team up with Jin and organize a double date, where Kang and Jin pretend to be a couple to prevent Sue and Sun from being alone. There, on the date, Jin tries so hard to sabotage Sue that she ends up creating a disaster. Well, she squishes her food in such a way that they think she's doing it to her own face. To top it off, her wig falls off, revealing her identity. Kang, worried and somewhat disgusted, tries to help her, but they both end up abandoning the scene, defeated and covered in shame, leaving the date in chaos. Meanwhile, Sue, in a fit of courage, decides that she wants to go to the same university as Sun and excitedly confesses it to him. But Sun, in his "nothing is happening here" style, completely ignores her. Unfazed, Sue grabs her phone and writes to Kang to see if they can meet. Kang, in his alternate universe, assumes this means that Sue has left Sun aside and that his love is free and ready for the conquest. Well, the reality, the person who appears on the date, is Sun. Well, it was a trap. Kang runs away like the devil is chasing him. Now, in a change of scene, Kang and Jin enter military service. Yes, it is real. And they have to work together in the field, where the two spend the date annoying each other. Here comes the best part. Jin becomes deeply affectionate to a chicken, and especially one of its eggs. But in a scene worthy of a novel, she returns at night and discovers that the egg is empty, and the chick never saw the light. There in the rain, Jin sheds a tear of the most dramatic pity.
Well, upon arriving home, wham, fever. Things are not looking good. The next day, the teacher tells everyone that Jin has pneumonia, and Kang, although he may not look it, worries a lot. Well, in the soap opera drama, San does not give up and proposes to Kang that they spend the last few days of class together with the hidden plan that their parents can meet. Yes, Sue rings the doorbell, but Kang has a nobler priority, seeing his beloved Jin, who almost cries with emotion when San appears with her homework and promises to help her pass the exams. Meanwhile, Kang does not stay behind. He buys food to take to Jin, but upon arriving, he sees San at her door. Jealous and with his heart racing, he leaves the food on the doorstep and leaves. Now, in another curious scene, Kang decides to film Sue for a TikTok, and in the middle of the recording, Sue proposes a date, but... And this is where we have to pause the story for today. The tension is sky high. Jin's heartbreak and Kang's incredible transformation have set the stage for an explosive conclusion. To see if they can put the past behind them and finally confess their feelings, so hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss part 2. Coming soon. See you next time.
If you liked it, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any other recap. Until next time,